Hello, this is Rob, and welcome to R&B Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing Steven Spielberg's movie The Post, starring Meryl Streep as Kay Graham, who was the owner of the Washington Post, and Tom Hanks as Ben Bradley, an editor-in-chief at the paper. Most of the movie is set in 1971, where the New York Times has gotten access to classified documents about the Vietnam War, also known as the Pentagon Papers, saying that the war was pretty much a cover-up. The Washington Post, which at the time was a smaller paper and was always competing with the New York Times, has access to more of the documents. However, the government is using the Justice Department to stop the distribution of these documents, claiming that it'll create a problem with the country's security. So the Washington Post has to decide whether or not to publish them, against the will of their lawyers and investors. So this was one of the most important stories of all time. I thought The Post was a technically well-crafted film. I think the movie did a good job at making me feel like I was watching a movie from the 1970s, like All the President's Men. Spielberg is great with the use of shots, angles, and lighting to create suspense. Even how segments were cut I thought were very effective, and I also thought that the pace of the movie was very swift. I also liked all the different stories that were going on throughout the film. The movie is I also found to be very relevant to many aspects, including politicians saying positive things when things are really worse. For example, there's a character who is doing a news conference. He just got out of talking about how the Vietnam War has become a disaster, and then he comes out, does a news conference, and publicly says, "Oh, things are fine. Things are going very well." It'll everything. And of course, the movie, touches on freedom of the press. Performance-wise, I thought Meryl Streep was terrific. I really liked her, and I really liked her character and what she stands for. During a scene at a meeting, she's talking about having quality reporters rather than focusing on just aiming for profits. And with Meryl Streep, she really digs deep into these characters where you feel like you're watching the real character. In this case, I felt like I was watching the real Kay Graham here. Tom Hanks also was terrific as the determined editor, and I liked the scenes that he has with Streep. The two really crackle, especially in moments when he's talking about how important journalism is and letting the public have, have the facts. The rest of the cast is made up of well-known character actors, and some of them I didn't really recognize until the end of the credits. I was like, wait, where was this person at? Like, for example, Tracy Letts and David Cross are some of the actors that are in the movie. The movie, I thought, was full of many great scenes. My personal favorite is when Ben is talking about how newspapermen and politicians used to socialize all the time, and the two kind of had an understanding about what they could and couldn't be published. But now Ben turns around and says, now he thinks the politicians need to be held accountable for their actions. And I also like a very tense moment where Kay is torn because she has to decide whether to publish these Pentagon Papers or not, because she wants to protect the paper, but she also wants to make sure that the public gets the news that they deserve. Also, it was very fascinating watching some of the technology that was used to print newspapers at the time. I was fascinated with all the people putting in, the type and then getting it printed and getting it all together. I thought that was kind of fascinating. But overall, I thought The Post was a smart, well-made suspense thriller with a great cast. There were some corny moments, like, for example, there's a scene later on in the movie where somebody in the newsroom is on the phone, and they're about to get very important information, and everybody in the room standing around in suspense, and then suddenly everybody's happy and hugging and all that other stuff. But for the most part, I enjoyed The Post, and I would definitely say, if you haven't caught it in the theaters yet, to give this one a shot. I thought it was very well done. So, that's my opinion of The Post. Go ahead and post your comments in the comment box below if you like to give your opinion about the movie. And if you're interested, hit the like button and go to the main page. Hit subscribe if you'd like to be a subscriber. And check out some other movies that you can watch in the theaters or in the comforts of your own home. Thank you very much for watching.